Things like giving people control over their pace, and that turns out to help all learners, novices and expert learners. Things about using media together with a voiceover, and that's exactly how Saul Khan's videos work. He doesn't show his face, he's actually showing a key write-up as he's doing it, so your eye is tracking what he's actually talking about. That turns out to line up with a bunch of the research about how you should use media. Things about using simple informal language, things about technology then allow you to take a really good learning solution, because the best tutors do these kinds of things too. What technology lets you do is take a good solution, or actually a bad solution, and make it affordable, reliable, available, and data-rich. So all of those things now become possible for us to do, and it's possible for us to do around the globe. The materials that you create that are introductory materials and demonstration materials can suddenly become available to everyone around the globe, and then you have local folks who get together to provide that next stage of feedback and counseling and answering questions that the online materials don't actually describe. And that local work can also then become, culturally more connected to where you are and give examples from where that is happening as well. It gives a terrific opportunity to make the whole process much more efficient around time and effort. And what it actually does, and this is a little bit odd, but it begins to drag education into the modern economy, where to do all this, you actually have to spend a lot more effort up front. This is not typically somebody sitting down the night before and doing a whole course. It becomes, well, let's look at the learning science, let's think about our objectives, let's structure this thing, let's figure out where do the interactives go, when do we need a person to engage, when can we use the automated systems. That can be a lot. You build all that, but now your variable costs come down potentially because you're using teachers, well-trained human beings in a system for what they're really good at, and allow the machines and the tools and the media to be designed to do the rest really well too. So at Kaplan, as a business doing this kind of work, we're trying very hard now to actually use large scale, we have more than 1 million learners, to begin to generate data, to do experiments along these lines, just as Saul is doing, to see if we apply this learning science now at scale as a learning engineering exercise, can we get those benefits, and then can we keep going and scale and transform how we do all our education. It's a very exciting time to be doing.
Saul, what Broad just described is really how a for-profit model can work well, because it can do the upfront costs, do it to scale. Yours is a nonprofit model. Then we have the model of sort of the Harvard, MIT doing edX, and Stanford doing it, 2 different things, whatever it may be. How do you see the mix of profits, nonprofits, and what's the advantages of each in this?
Yeah, I think it's all great. I think we really are in kind of a renaissance. And every week we're hearing of a new, Harvard and MIT, these are not small institutions. I think it was the biggest announcement.
You have 4 degrees from amongst them, right?
Yeah, so I'm making sure
and
that
Bill never got
there.
one,
yeah.
as far as I can remember,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Almost,
yeah.
Got an honorary.
He's getting a higher return on his. But I think it's all great. It's all innovation. I think everyone's seeing what works in certain contexts and saying, yeah, we should do that too. We should do that. Our thought, or my thought process, and it was really kind of delusional when I literally was operating out of a closet for several years. It was that we are at kind of this inflection point in history. We've been talking about it this whole session, and I felt that any inflection point in history needs new institutions, and it wasn't obvious that new institutions to this point had actually percolated up. New companies had, but not new institutions. And so in my delusional, I read a lot of science fiction books, I was like, maybe I could be like Harry Seldon in the Foundation. This could we could read the same books, obviously. But there
people who read the Foundation. Or,
yes, Isaac Asimov.
Vanguard.
Yeah, but there is. It was crazy and kind of idealistic on one aspect, but on another aspect, it's completely practical. Now, maybe we could do civilization scale education. We can make it free. We can make it an institution. This content I talk about, if Newton had made videos on calculus, I wouldn't have to. This stuff is evergreen. It's not changing.
Well, his notation was a little...
Yeah, and he was a little eccentric.
Leibniz will do.
Yeah, Leibniz might have been,
for him.
But so this stuff is evergreen. This stuff is going to, these videos could be teaching, and not just videos, interactions, questions, simulations. They could teach kids 500 years from now. And so it just seemed like too crazy of an opportunity to try to, there's nothing wrong with it as a business, but maybe it can be an institution. And that was the thinking for us.
Bill, how does that change the role of the teachers and help you scale good teachers.